Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Natalia Moczulska, and this is the news. European Union ministers met in Luxembourg today to discuss the rule of law situation in Poland, a day after the Executive EU Commission warned Warsaw it would not disperse some development funds unless it fixes the country's courts. Yesterday, the Commission warned that nearly all of Poland's so-called cohesion funds from the bloc's 2021 to 2027 shared budget are also at a stake given that Warsaw is not meeting democratic standards on judicial independence. The move was welcomed by Germany's EU Affairs Minister Anna Lurman as she arrived for the meeting. We welcome in principle that the EU Commission is using all means now available to protect the rule of law in the EU. Austrian European Union Affairs Minister Caroline Edstadler echoed the words of her colleague, saying there should be no compromise on the rule of law. I tell you very clearly, you know my position, that there must be no compromise on the rule of law, and anything that helps to keep things moving in the reform process is important. We see that there is movement, that Poland is also moving, and I have always said that when it comes to money, people also move when it comes to reforms, and that is why I think it is right and important to keep at it. Today it's just a status report, but I'm looking forward to it. European Commission Vice President Vera Jourova said she hoped the Polish position would move in the direction of getting the support.
I personally believe that Poland needs the support from the EU, but at the same time, there are conditions which apply to everybody, every member state. That's why I do hope that there will be some move from the Polish side in the direction of getting the support and fulfilling the conditions.
Here is what Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki had to say about this topic earlier today. I do not think that the funds from the European Union, the cohesion funds, the agricultural funds, and the funds for innovations and others are at risk. On the contrary, the first funds are already flowing in. Maybe these are not large funds, some tens of millions of zloty from the technical assistance program, but they have a very similar status to other funding programs. In the next few months, most likely, because it has to be done from the other side. But if the procedures and the rule of law on the side of the European Union mean anything, most likely the first advanced payments will be released. They are not large, just as in other countries. Day 237 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This morning, the Russians shelled energy infrastructure in Kiev, Dnipro, and Zhytomyr, as well as industrial facilities in Kharkiv. Mykolaiv, located in the south of the country, was attacked yesterday night with S-300 missiles, and the Ukrainian president again appealed to the West to deliver more air defense systems. Right now, there is a new Russian drone attack. There are drones shot down. The world can and must stop this terror. When we talk about Ukraine's need for air and missile defense systems, we talk about real lives taken by terrorists. We managed to shoot down part of missiles and drones. Only in 12 hours since Sunday 9 p.m., we have managed to destroy 37 Iranian Shahed drones and some cruise missiles. But to guarantee the protection of our skies and reduce the capabilities of Russian terrorists to zero, we need significantly more modern air defense systems and more missile supply for such systems. The next stage of releasing our people from Russian captivity has taken place. We managed to return 108 Ukrainian women. 96 are service women. 37 of them are evacuees from Azovstal. 12 are civilians. Among those released today, some were captured long before the full-scale war. We woke up at 1:45 a.m. because of a very loud explosion. It's impossible to describe it. So much dust. We were in the basement. We crawled out through openings in the ground. Our neighbor died, unfortunately. He was a bit closer to the explosion site while we were a bit further away. The windows opened, the doors opened, rocks were coming down the roof. We didn't understand at first. There was shelling here and there, a lot of noise. We called each other and realized they hit this place in the morning. We got more scared. Well, we woke up because our window glass was shattered. Broken windows, broken doors. It wasn't only the apartment complex. There is another building in the yard where I live. Everything is broken there too. Well, the Russians probably get pleasure from this. They get pleasure from us feeling bad. They feel pleased. I think they want us to bomb and shell their city buildings and so on. But we won't, so that we show we are different from them. The attack on Kyiv is just part of this big game now, or this big drone attack from the air, because 43 drones were sent to Ukraine yesterday. Most of them, more than 35, were shot down, which also shows that Ukrainians are effective here. On the one hand, it could be about martyring the civilian population, especially those in the big cities, because this is obviously the most opinionated population, in order to spread this idea that it's time to suspend this war. But this is one conjecture. The other conjecture is that the main thing is to win the war for the sky, to stretch as much as possible, to disperse the air forces, the anti-missile and anti-aircraft forces of Ukraine, so that they are not clustered in those places where the real kinetic war is taking place, but to stretch these Ukrainian systems in order to weaken, to perforate a little bit, what was so far a strong anti-aircraft defense. And finally, earlier today, the European Commission proposed another set of emergency measures to tackle high energy prices, but steered clear of an immediate cap on gas prices, as EU countries remain split over the idea. The measures did not include an immediate gas price cap, which most European Union countries say they want, but the Commission asked for European Union countries' approval of a draft proposal to set a temporary maximum dynamic price on trades at the tidal transfer facility Dutch Gas Hub, which serves as a benchmark price for European gas trading. Price cap proponents say that the benchmark does not reflect the reality of most EU gas purchases today.
We know that Europe's energy demand is very large. So it is logical that instead of outbidding each other, the member states and the energy companies should leverage their joint purchasing power. And for that, we propose today legal tools for pooling energy demand at European level.
In a bid to respond to the concerns of the member states worried imposing a price cap would disrupt the energy market, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen added that the new mechanism should be flexible enough to ensure security of supply.
We need to tame the volatility and the extreme price hikes on the main European gas market, that is the so-called TTF. The TTF benchmark has been mainly designed for pipeline gas. But we all know that this market has dramatically changed. It has changed from pipeline initially to much more LNG by now.
The proposals are unlikely to placate all 27 EU countries, whose leaders will discuss them at a summit on Thursday and Friday.
Today we're taking a two-step approach. Today we're setting out a number of principles for this flexible or dynamic capping mechanism. It should be flexible enough to ensure security of supply, for example. It should be high enough that the market is functioning and the gas is flowing. And it should be wide enough that it is also covering the other benchmarks we have in the European Union.
Speaking before the Commission announcement, French Minister Laurence Boone called for the implementation of a price cap, while Austrian Minister Caroline Edstadler said such a fatal measure would impede the bloc's gas purchases. The Commission's proposals, which need approval from European Union member states, are the bloc's latest effort to address the spike in energy prices and fuel supply crunch that have gripped Europe since Russia cut gas flows after invading Ukraine. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please stay tuned for Poland Daily Weather, Poland Daily Business, and some of our other programs. But for me, have a wonderful evening.